Have you ever wondered if numbers could be more than just, well, numbers? Today we're diving into a really fascinating and, I gotta say, pretty unique framework that claims it can unlock hidden stories and big ideas that are hiding inside the numbers we see every single day. So let's just start with that big question right there. I mean, think about it. We use numbers constantly to measure, to calculate, to make sense of our world. But what if they could do more? What if numbers could actually be a language for telling a completely different kind of story? So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by looking at that space between pure math and pure meaning. Then we'll introduce this new code designed to bridge it, called TNK. After that, we'll get into the 5 tools it uses, see it in action with a really powerful case study, and then we'll wrap up by looking at what this all might mean for the future. Okay, let's kick things off with our first section, numbers beyond the calculator. You know, for centuries, there's been this tension, this kind of gap between the cold, hard precision of mathematics on one side and our very human search for symbolism and deeper meaning on the other. And this slide really gets to the heart of it. On one hand, you've got traditional math. It's objective, it's quantitative, it works. But it can feel like it's lacking that symbolic depth. That on the other hand, you have systems like numerology, which are packed with interpretation, but are often criticized for, not having real mathematical rigor. And it's this exact space that this new framework is trying to operate in. So how do you even begin to bridge a gap like that? Well, that brings us to the proposed solution, a system called Creative Numerical Transformation, or TNK for short. So what exactly is TNK? Well, at its core, it's this new framework that tries to blend mathematics with creative, symbolic interpretation. The big idea here is that numbers aren't just for counting. They actually carry deeper patterns and maybe even philosophical insights that are just waiting for us to unlock them. And the ambition behind this project is, well, it's huge. The goals of TNK are not small. It aims to lay out a whole structured system for exploring numbers, and it uses examples from the Quran to show how it works. It even looks at applications in fields as different as education, spirituality, and artificial intelligence. The ultimate goal is really to try and bridge that gap between science and soul. Okay, but how does it actually work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts. This next section is all about the mechanics of the TNK framework, the 5 specific tools it uses to make these transformations happen. And here they are, the TNK toolkit. It's a mix of things we all recognize, like standard arithmetic, with some more abstract ideas. You've got concatenation, which is really just sticking numbers together. Then there are these things called special functions, and digit summation, which is all about boiling numbers down to their essence. And then the most important step, symbolic interpretation. It's this blend of the mathematical and the interpretive that really makes this whole system what it is. And these tools aren't just used randomly. They're applied in a pretty structured 5-step process. You start with a seed number from some source, you apply a sequence of tools to transform it, you reduce it down to a core value, and then you interpret what that value symbolically means. And that last step, validation, is about checking both the math and making sure the interpretation holds together. All right, theory is one thing, but this is where it all comes to life. We're going to walk through a really detailed case study to see TNK in action. It's called the 9999 revelation, and it's going to take us all the way from a religious text down to a single powerful digit. So the whole process kicks off with our seed numbers. In this case, they're pulled from 2 specific chapters or surahs from the Quran, Surah 76 and Surah 96. These numbers are our raw materials. First up, the concatenation tool. It's super simple. The 2 source numbers, 76 and 96, are just joined together, end to end, creating this new 4-digit number, 7696. Next, things get a little more interesting. A special function comes into play. In this case, that means multiplying our number by 13. Why 13? Well, within this system, it's a number chosen for its specific symbolic weight. The idea is to add a layer of what's called spiritual amplification. And when you multiply 7696 by 13, you get this, an absolutely striking, perfect pattern of 6 nines, 999999. Now, according to this framework, when a pattern like this emerges from the math, it's a really significant moment. Now it's time to apply another tool, digit summation. The goal here is to take this big, complex number and reduce it, boil it down to its core essence. So you just add up all the digits, 9 plus 9 plus 9, you get the idea. Adding all those nines together gives us 54. But we're not done just yet. The reduction process is iterative, which means we keep doing it until we're left with just one single digit. So, one last time, 5 plus 4 equals 9. And there it is. After that entire chain of transformations, starting from two separate chapters, creating a new number, multiplying it, and reducing it down, we are left with the single digit 9. So what does this 9 actually mean? Well, this is the final crucial step, symbolic interpretation. In the context of this specific framework, the number 9 is interpreted as representing insan tobat, which translates to the repentant human. Described as the very pinnacle of the human spiritual journey, the math has led to a deep metaphysical conclusion. Okay, so we've seen how the system works, but what are the bigger implications of a framework like TNK? I mean, where could this blend of math and meaning actually be used? Well, the creators of TNK imagined a pretty wide range of uses. In education, it could be a way to gamify math, making pattern recognition more fun for students. For spirituality, it offers a new tool for analyzing texts. And this is fascinating, they even suggest its algorithms could be used in AI to find complex patterns in data, or even to generate art from numbers. But really, if there's one core takeaway, it's this. TNK reframes numbers. It presents them not as static, unchanging facts, but as a dynamic and creative medium. It's almost like it treats numbers as the kind of language that can be used to build stories and uncover hidden layers of meaning. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question to chew on. If numbers really can be treated as a language, as a medium for finding and telling stories, then what other news stories are just out there waiting to be told?